All right, you guys. Welcome to the Urban Youth Racing School virtual STEM class presented by GM or Team Chevy rather. Oh, there it is. All right, you guys, welcome. As always, you guys know that you have the Q&A box. Raise your hand if you want to come live. Our guest, Tyler Reddick, will be in here in about 15 minutes. He's finishing up a driver's meeting this morning. But as always, we have our host, which is Anthony Martin, founder of the Racing School. We have John Cohen from New York Racing. And then we just have a new team member. And we're going to create you. You're going to just be our team member forever, Jim. So Jim is our new co-host. So we have Mr. Jim Campbell from Chevrolet and Team Chevy. All right, you guys. I'm turning it over.
Good morning. Welcome to our virtual class. And one of the things I wanted to say is for all the kids that are on right now, we want to talk a little bit about your projects, which are due on June 17th. So we sent out a bunch of emails and information. And again, as I mentioned on Wednesday, if anyone has any questions at all, please do not hesitate to contact myself or John Cohen. Okay, so remember, I guess being as creative as you possibly can would be really cool, but they will be judged on June 17th. John, you have any questions?
Yeah, I just want to, not really questions, just make sure you're fully prepared. I know a lot of times when I ask some of you guys, do you have certain things? You may not have it at this moment, but let's take this week out to try to catch up on everything before Wednesday, because you really have to present to me this week, because following, we're going to have special people coming in to actually speak to you guys and actually, look at your projects and critique, and also help you guys move forward to be better business owners. So I just want you guys, if you guys don't have your PDFs done, please email me, email Anthony if you guys have questions on your bios. Anything, you have to have your whole project together for Wednesday, because you're gonna present to me, Anthony, and then the following week you present to a special guest. So please have everything together.
John,
yes.
Do you have a seatbelt on?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. It's
okay,
I can't drop the strap part. I always got the bottom part on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, again, so does everyone have their pictures? John asked for pictures of the driver, of yourself, for sure. Does anyone need any help with putting together their bio? These are things that we really want to reiterate with to you. If you need help with these things, please do not hesitate to ask.
Yes. Also, too, make sure you reiterate your activation, because that's going to be an important part of your whole plan going after a sponsor. Because like I told you guys before, racing is just a car going around the track with their label on it. You got to show how you're going to connect to their consumers. You got to show how you connect to the fans. You got to show how this sponsor is going to sell a product, the following week after they see your car on the track. So make sure your activation is creative, whatever it may be. Even if you have something, if you have questions, like I said, once again, email me and we'll try to go through it and come up with something that's pretty creative. Like I told you guys, one of my activations is the Urban Racing School. I want to create a plan where we can, like every kid in the country is able, from inner cities are able to find a way to racing, because of most questions I ask to me as a NASCAR owner is, how can I get racing? So and Anthony and Michelle been doing this for 20 years in the Philadelphia area and South Jersey area. So we just want to embellish this all over the country. So that's one of my activations. So therefore, come up with an activation that could be similar to your brand.
So I do have a question from Elijah, John. And
Okay.
I don't know if you guys went through this. He asked, how would we do the social media marketing, and is it in your slides?
Okay, so the social media marketing can be part of your activation. That's basically activation. So for me, if I go to a brand, just say if it's a brand such as Samsung, and I go to Samsung and I say, I want to do social media activation, I reach out to influencers to have them repost maybe a race, repost maybe a slogan, repost, anything that can generate, eyes back to the brand. So I would use that as an initiative, just try to use influences of whoever you have. When I say social influences, I mean other athletes, other actors. It could be Anthony or Michelle. It could be anybody that you can think of that has some type of influence over a certain amount of people. Okay, Anthony, did he freeze?
So yeah, it actually froze for a second.
Okay.
Real fast. Okay.
Also, too, make sure your car. I know you guys been working on the car at PDS. Just make sure it really makes a statement, because the car is everything. When somebody visual is everything, especially with a brand. Looking at your car design, because that's the first image because I'm be honest with you, most CMOs, this is just me telling the truth to all you kids, most CMOs are from the North Jersey, New York, California area, so they might not be a fan of NASCAR right now. So you have to make them a fan of NASCAR. You have to show them a car that they be like, "Oh, that looks really cool," because that's why I use Brendan. Me and him have been doing this for years, because when we create a car, we want to make somebody see it like when you see a car on the street. I want the people to say, "Oh, that's really cool." All right, what's the next step? You have to make the CMO, and I say CMO is Chief Marketing Officer. Let me explain that to some of you guys who may not know. A CMO is the Chief Market. They pretty much make the decision of where their marketing dollars go. So as us being in NASCAR, we have to compete with football. We have to compete with baseball. We have to compete with social influencers on Instagram. We have to compete with every sports plus everything else. So what you give them has to blow their mind, because they get so much stuff come to them in the course of the week that you have to show them something that's really different than anybody else's. So also too, make sure you express on your bio why you love racing, because that's important. And you can think anything else to tell the kids on this Wednesday?
So also in presenting and doing platform, so obviously the visual of the vehicle is very, very important. But also what's important is the platform, and the platform being NASCAR and 80 million potential folks seeing their logos. So that's very, very important too. So these are the numbers that you actually need to convince a sponsor to also want to give up the money to sponsor you. It's not just about, obviously you want the vehicle to be really, really cool, but you have to have those numbers really backing that up for a sponsor to want to participate too. So make sure you guys have that in your packages.
And did you send that to all the kids? That page 4, the Nielsen report I sent to you for the kids?
Yes.
I haven't emailed anything out.
Okay, so
I'm pretty sure Ed Butler has it too.
Okay, so
Ed's going to do it. Send it out.
Yeah. So you guys know I sent you a page directly from NASCAR Marketing. It is part of the Nielsen report. So it's a report that basically breaks down household income for NASCAR fans, how many fans in NASCAR, how many minority fans. It has a couple data reports on there. I want you guys to put that on page 4, but just don't put it on page 4 as the last page. You guys have to know that report back and forth, because I'm going to ask you questions on that report like I know nothing about NASCAR, because most of the people that you may come across ask you about NASCAR, just assume they know nothing about racing. Let's say that. Let's not put it just to NASCAR. They might know nothing about racing, so make sure you know everything about your
special guest
about that part.
Yeah. All right, cool. It looks like Tyler has just come in, or he's trying to come in. You guys, Tyler is our special guest for today. He is the number 8 driver for the Caterpillar Chevrolet car for Richard Childress Racing. Hi, Miles. I see you. So we'll wait for him to come back in.
Okay, now I want to reiterate again to you, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, there's no question that's stupid, or I mean, you have to ask these questions for sure. Do not feel ashamed if you feel like you missed something, whatever it might be. We want you guys to be caught up and be ready to go by June 17th. So again, there's no question that's beneath us. I put it to you that way. So make sure you ask those questions, because we want all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to be successful on June 17th.
All right, cool. So we're just waiting for Tyler to come in here, you guys, and we're super excited. Tyler, I was looking through Tyler's bio, and he has some really great accomplishments. And this is his rookie season, Jim?
This is his rookie season. Absolutely.
Yeah, rookie season as a Cup driver, right, Anthony? First year as a Cup driver. And as you go through his bio, you'll see that last year he was the champion in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, kind of the middle series, and the year before that as well. So we'll have a chance to talk about that. I know Anthony's got some questions for him.
Right.
Absolutely, that's exciting. So I'm excited to talk to him about just his climb up the whole motorsports ladder, and kind of what that took for him and what that looked like.
So, hey Jim, this rookie season for Tyler has been, I guess, say unprecedented, huh? This was going on, and the fact that he is a rookie this year and a very talented rookie. So I think that with everything that's going on, it's it's very interesting. I'm really interested to hear what he has to say.
He came in with a group of other rookies. One Cole Custer, who was a Ford driver, and another rookie who came in from kind of the Toyota Xfinity program. And Tyler was really doing well on the Chevy side with Richard Childress Racing. He's really holding his own as a rookie, racing door to door, wheel to wheel with a lot of veterans and championship drivers. So he's very impressive, and he's fearless, actually. So it'll be fun to talk to him.
Yeah,
I think they're down in Texas this weekend. So
yes.
Yeah, hey, just while we're waiting for Tyler to come in, I think John's point about and Anthony, as you're talking about your kind of presentation you're putting together, the bio that tells us about you and your passion and interest in racing, and then whether your driver is a NASCAR driver or from one of the other series, it is that's very, we want to see the passion and the love that you have, and it comes through in your bio. And then obviously, as you have a chance to present, sharing a little bit of that, so we understand how you love the sport and the reasons why is really an important thing. So I'm glad that John and Anthony both reinforced that.
All right, so I have another question from Robert Mars. Robert asks, do we have to get the report done by next Wednesday or the following Wednesday? I would think by this coming Wednesday, because that way John and Anthony can see everything that you guys have and can give you all the feedback that you need. You really should spend your last week prepping on giving your oral presentation. You should spend your last week learning your deck inside and out, so that way you're able to really speak on it. All right, so thank you for that question, Robert. But you guys, yes, definitely try your best to have it done by Wednesday. That way you can spend the next week just prepping, preparing, pitching, and just growing confident while you're speaking and you're giving your and you're presenting on your deck.
Yeah, because this week you're going to pretty much present to me and Anthony like you're presenting to the very important marketing people next week. So come prepared like it's the following week. Have it all together, because we're gonna show you that you're gonna need changes in your deck for the following week, but we want you to be fully prepared going into the following week, especially the confidence talking at us. So the more you're prepared, the more confident you're going to be speaking to us.
Can somebody check on Tyler? I just want to make sure his link is okay. because I know Zoom has really been acting up. And so for everyone on here for next week and moving forward, Zoom has this big update, is the 5.0 update. And when you don't update, it seems to be giving people a lot of problems. So, you know, you can update it on your phone and you can update it on your computer. So make sure you guys, that you send those, you do those updates. The next email I send out, I'm gonna make sure to send you guys a reminder. I think that's why we were having so much trouble on Zoom this past last week.
So he's having a hard time coming in. I'm
I'm
in.
not sure, but he came in and then it left back out. So I just want to make sure that, you know, he's okay with the link. That's it. And I don't know if you had, who is it? Kayla, right? Her number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make
Kayla.
sure that. All right, so we have a question from Samaj. So Samaj, no, it does not need to be on a poster board. This is kind of different, right? So basically you guys are going to, this is the preferred method. Everybody should have submitted their deck by Wednesday morning at the latest, 12 noon Wednesday. And then what we'll do is either John, Anthony, or myself, I'll probably be on, I will share everybody's decks and it'll make it a lot easier. So I'll share the deck and you guys will be able to speak on it and present on it. Does that make sense? Does that work better, John and Anthony?
Yeah, Michelle,
Yes.
the generic deck I sent to you from my team, can you send that to all the kids so they can see what we're gonna be looking for? It's gonna be 4 pages from you guys. So like I said, the first page.
Michelle,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Not for interrupting. I just got a text from Tyler. He asked if we can hear him or see him. Is he in the attendee?
No, he came. Oh, let me see. Is he in that? I don't know how he would have ended up in there. Hold on. Oh, Tyler. I'm wondering if this is him. I don't know how that happened. I'm gonna promote you to panelist, Tyler.
Here we go.
Is this him?
Hey, sorry. Yeah, that was me. You guys got me?
Tyler, welcome.
Hey,
Sorry
Tyler.
about that. I didn't know if I was muted. I couldn't figure out what was going on for a few minutes there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know how you ended up as because I seen you come in as a panelist and then you kind of and then you disappeared, but I thought you were having issues. I didn't know that somehow you got booted down.
Yeah, I think Kayla joined in to make sure everything was working, and then she hopped out so I could get in, and then it must have done something weird, but sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. We're
No
excited
problem.
to have you.
Well, thank you. Sorry to keep you guys waiting.
No,
Yes,
you had a driver's meeting, right?
I had a rookie meeting a little earlier, but
Yeah.
no, it's been a pretty relaxed day. We have like a driver's meeting link that we'll look at it. They'll send out at 5 o'clock. So we'll look at that at some point, but you don't have to watch it live or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. So
All right.
So
Well,
Tyler, how's it going, buddy? How's everything?
it's going pretty good. It's been difficult and interesting getting used to the new normal of racing where you either drive. Well, this will be the first time we fly the day of a race, but it's just weird getting in the routine and getting mentally prepared for a race that you don't spend any time at the racetrack beforehand. Really, you just show up the day of, a few hours before, you're by yourself, and it's just very odd. I'm used to being in the hall or at the garage with the team, having that interaction, that the teamwork aspect of it in person. I guess we still still work really well together. We talk a lot just over the phone or through a group me text message we have, and it's just been difficult and interesting getting used to it, but I'm glad we're back racing.
it's funny you say that because I was going to ask you, with COVID and everything like that and NASCAR pretty much being the first sport to kind of get back at it. But I guess the difference it would be like, how is it with your team? So if you were playing basketball, how would you talk to your coach? But how do you talk to your crew chief and your engineer when you can't really see them? There was no testing, right? There was a lot of things you guys couldn't do. It's almost like, flying by the seat of your pants and just going. That's what it feels like to me. It seems like to me. So I'm just curious, what is that experience like?
I don't know. I've always been a driver that doesn't need a very set in stone routine race day or, things that happen in a certain way. I came from dirt racing where, you show up to the racetrack sometimes 20 minutes before practice or hot laps. You don't have a lot of time. So you're just kind of scrambling and just going with the flow of things as it changes from one track to the other, depending on who the sanctioning body is. But for me and Randall, we get along really well away from the racetrack. So when we first started working together at the beginning of last year, it was just very easy to just have a line of communication, even allowing him to do what he needs to do and be comfortable and stay comfortable, and allows me to kind of do my thing. So we do talk a lot, but if we go a couple days without talking, he's not nervous. I'm not nervous about what we bring to the racetrack. One thing that's been very instrumental in all this, and thanks to Jim and all the guys, all the men and women at Chevy, is been able to have some limited simulator time at Pratt & Miller. That's been a huge help, because the only laps of any kind, if you will, on track as a driver will be in the simulation at Pratt & Miller. So, they have a room with a moving platform that pretty much simulates all the movements, all the bumps, all the feels of a race car for a driver. And if you're not paying attention, you will forget that you're in a simulator. But we work on a lot of setup things in there, and it's a nice little way for a driver to refresh on some of the lines and little marks around the racetrack you have to hit. So we've been using that too, and that's been a big help.
Nice. So that just kind of goes into another question right quick, which is iRacing.
Yeah.
And how much of that did you do? And even in, the fact that you're a rookie, you're a rookie. So was iRacing something that you used a lot to kind of, get your training, or how did you even start? How old were you? Like just start from the beginning.
Well, I started racing when I was 4. What got me into racing was, like PlayStation video games, the racing games. I watched NASCAR on Sundays. I loved a lot of forms of circle track racing, asphalt and dirt. I just love vehicles with engines and four wheels and tires, monster trucks, you name it. I was a kid, so the bigger, the louder, the more intrigued I was.
You were a real boy. Like that's what they call. You were a real boy. That's what they call.
Yeah.
You're a man's boy.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was very young, I got into racing at a very young age, and my parents worked at car dealerships growing up. So I was in and around cars my whole life growing up. So cars are what I loved. Racing is I guess from the love of vehicles and cars and being around them, that's where racing started. And I've just raced since I was 4.5 years old. It's what I've loved. It's what I've done. And so I guess going back to the iRacing side, when all this started, I've never really been an iRacer. My friends have simulators and ways to get laps and do those sort of things, but it was all new to me. So whenever the NASCAR Pro Invitational Series started up, it was very new for me, and I had a lot of learning to do. But the nice thing about it is, when I walked away from that experience, I learned a lot of new things that I think will help me when I get to the short tracks that we have coming up this year, because a lot of the things that I'm used to as a driver relying on for feel and the seat of my pants, if you will, or just the feel in my gut or my body of the car moving around, you have none of that in iRacing, and it's strictly visual and what you're feeling in the hands of the feedback of the steering wheel. So it made me really work on my smoothness, really searching in the steering wheel for more speed out of the car. And I think that'll be a benefit when we go to these short tracks.
Nice.
Gotcha. So, hey, Tyler, so if a kid is trying to have a career in racing, what would you recommend? How should they start? What should they do? Since you are a Cup driver, and by the way, I heard nothing but phenomenal things about you. When I mentioned to even Tony Mayhoff over at Dale Earnhardt, I said, listen, Tyler's actually going to be coming on to our show. He's a great guy. I mean, really great guy. I mean, everyone I spoke to about it, Jim Campbell, everyone has nothing but phenomenal things to say about you. So again, if a kid has a desire to become a driver, What do you recommend?
Well, I think it's very important to be a student of the sport. And I don't know if necessarily that means you have to dive off and be really engineering smart or really focus on one thing or another. But if in any way, if you know, you really hone in on something that you like about racing, whether that's the aerodynamic side of things. When I was dirt racing, that was one thing I really like to work on, is making my body as best as I can, try and take advantage of the rules that we had on the dirt late models to get as much aerodynamic advantage if we could. But you know, these cars are, I mean, we have a lot of engineers at our shop, and one thing that's very important in racing is understanding how all that stuff works. That's still something that, as I've changed from dirt racing to how the rules in the truck series were without bump stops and shaft springs, to then Xfinity and now Cup without a ride height rule. A lot of that stuff's been very interesting to navigate. And just the more you know about that stuff naturally from an education can really help you break down what's happening inside the race car and really open up a way of communicating back and forth with your crew chief and your engineers about what you're feeling. So any kind of background in the engineering side, obviously we have a lot of technology on these cars. Any way that you get an advantage in those areas as we continue to advance and just, you know, make these cars more efficient, you know, just keep making advances in racing. I think that's going to continue to become more and more important. So any ways that you can have an advantage on other guys in that area to really break it down and tell it to your team, especially with the limited amount of testing and practice we have right now, I think would be huge. But for sure, when you're young growing up, you know, you love racing, you want to have fun with it. But I think it's important, like I said, to focus on the details of the car. And one thing, I mean, racing is all about finding little advantages, right? If you can find something through an education as a driver, as you work on your own car at dirt tracks or short tracks, if you can find something that's an edge that puts you ahead of the other guys, that's going to help you get to victory lane. So racing is all about racing hard, but it's also about smart minds working together to put the best product on track too. So it's all a team effort, but the smarter you can be and the more you know about it, it definitely helps.
Gotcha.
That was long-winded. I know. Sorry.
Questions for Tyler? John,
Tyler, I have a question for you. Tyler,
Yeah.
John Carr from New York Racing. I have a question for you. So going from the Xfinity car into a Cup car your rookie year, how much of a learning curve was it for you switching to the Cup car?
It was a huge learning curve, and it continues to be. One of the unique challenges of the Cup Series this year before COVID-19 and all the other things that have been thrown at us this year was no on-track testing. So, you know, a lot of the times I've been to a lot of these tracks in Xfinity and truck, but it's in a new car racing against the best of the best. So your room for error is very little. I mean, you obviously, if you're off a little bit, like a 10th or so in the Xfinity Series, you can still be a 5th or 6th place car. But in the Cup Series, that can be the difference between being in the top 10 and being outside the top 20. So just having to really, I guess, be on it. You can't really take any weekend for granted. You have to work really hard and be ready for anything when you show up to the racetrack, because we get no practice time. And now with everything that's going on now with COVID-19, we literally don't get any practice on track. So our first lap's on track in a Cup car or the green flag. So we just have to really be on it, studying everything we can, any bits of film, SMT, which is a tool that we have that shows all the throttle, steering, brake, all the inputs from the drivers in their cars. Just going through all that stuff and just being as best prepared as you can be is the best way to tackle it, because the on-track time is so important for a rookie, and we basically get none of it going into a race.
So did you set any goals for you? Go ahead, Michelle. That's fine.
So I was looking at your bio, and you've done so many things, won races, pole positions, 25 top 5, and when you were doing the truck series, and as you were working your way up. But what I want to know is, where were you and how did it feel when you got that call that you were going to get a Cup ride at the highest level? Like, this is your dream. I'm imagining, I could be wrong, but this is your dream.
Yeah, it is. It was kind of interesting. I was very excited, but at the same time, it was tough because a good friend of mine, still to this day. Daniel Hemrick is a driver that I raced it back in my truck days at BKR with. You know, I raced against him in the Xfinity Series when he got promoted from the RCR Xfinity ride to the Cup ride. You know, we remained good friends. But where it got difficult, I was still very excited to get that opportunity. But one of the unique things about this is you make a lot of friends along the way. And as it ended up being, the very guy I was replacing was my good friend in Daniel. So it was nice to finally have that opportunity. But at the same time, it was hard not to, you know, feel bad about it. But I mean, you have to take that opportunity. You can't turn it away because of friends and in that spot you're trying to get to. But that was the only thing that made it interesting. You know, it was a little awkward, I guess, at the shop, you know, whenever. Yeah, I know, but it was. I think it still hasn't really sunk in. I mean, the second time going back to the Daytona 500 this year, doing it a year ago, kind of, I think, you know, hid the fact of how huge the moment was. I'm finally making my first full-time start. But as we started rolling and doing the West Coast races, it started to sink in a little bit more. But then everything happened with COVID-19. So it's been different, but it's been really cool to be up there battling with guys that I've watched my entire career. You know, it was really cool to hear nice, kind words by Matt Kenseth, who's come back recently to racing. You know, Matt was a guy that I probably was never going to get to race against. And his first race back, I'm racing door to door with the past Cup champion, and getting high praise from him meant a lot. It's just been really cool to race against guys like Jimmy and all these guys that I've literally grown up watching most of my life. And now I get to race door to door with them and do everything I can to try and earn their respect in the best way possible. It's pretty crazy.
Tyler, you really are a nice guy. Let me tell you why. Because last year we met Daniel Hemrick. He actually came and raced in our celebrity go-kart race last year. And he was truly a nice guy. And for you to mention that, you talk about the fact you felt bad about taking the seat. Yeah, you really are. So again, Daniel, actually, we had a celebrity go-kart race last year up here in Philadelphia. And Daniel came up as well as Bubba Wallace. And it was funny, Daniel actually tweeted about the fact of him actually being here and racing against our kids and everything. So again, I really appreciate that. Because I actually thought about that too in reference to Daniel Hemrick. You know, since the fact that we kind of, we met him and he was really a nice person. But for you to bring that up, that's really a great gesture on your part.
One of our students, Samaj, said that it must have been bittersweet.
Yeah,
it really was.
That's a good way to
for
put
both
it.
of us, I mean, me and Daniel had a lot of respect for one another, and you know, he was excited for me to get that opportunity. But even for him, like he was wanting me to get to Cup Series too. But it just is unfortunate it turned out the way it did. It was a tough few months after everything changed, but you know, I've been able to FaceTime them, and they just had their child, and getting to see and talk to them has been nice. We've obviously stayed friends. It was tough at times, but we're doing better again. And it's nice to see their baby girl's doing well and is healthy. So Kenzie and Alexa, my girlfriend, Daniel's wife, and my girlfriend are both going through similar things, kind of, you know, a little bit offset from one another. So they're able to share a lot of stories and talk about a lot of things. And me and Daniel, obviously, we've never been dads before. So it's just a wild experience. So, but it's nice. I mean, in racing, you go through tough things, but we're all one big family. And, you know, that's what it's about. You making friends.
How old is Bo, right? That's your son's name, Bo?
Yeah, I think he's getting close to 5 months right now. He's like four and a half-ish. Yeah.
Wow.
He's brand new.
He is
right.
brand new. Yeah.
He reached this planet with pandemics and all kinds of crazy things going on.
Yeah, Bo came in, and like at 2 weeks old, we drove down to Daytona. We were there for 2 weeks. It was kind of nice. Got away from everything. Just could focus on him, and then the obligations I would have. But over the course of 2 weeks, there's a crazy lot of things going on during the week when I was down in Daytona. But then I turned around and left and was gone from him for about 3 weeks when I did the West Coast trip. And whenever Alexa came out for like the last week of it, it was like, oh my gosh, he had changed so much. And then after that, it's been a blessing in a way. Like everything happening is unfortunate, but I try and look at the positives. And I've gotten to spend so much more time with him than I was supposed to at this time of year. When we were self-isolating at home. So it was just really nice to get that unplanned time with him.
All right, so we have one of our students. So normally what we do with the students is they raise their hands and I bring them up one at a time to ask questions.
Alrighty.
William Johnson is on, so I'm going to bring you up to make you a panelist. All right, William, you're going to have to unmute yourself, babe. Or I can unmute you, actually. William, are you there? All right, William, I'm going to bring you back down to attendee while you try to figure it out. All right?
We were just talking about him. Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of the little guy,
Oh,
there he is.
There's Bo.
He's all fresh from his little nap. Say hi, Bo.
oh, that's a twin.
He's
Hi,
looking at
Bo.
mom. He's obsessed with mom.
That's-
Say hi, Bo.
Look at Bo.
Let me take my AirPods off so you can hear you guys. Where's the? There we go.
Hi, Bo.
Say hi, Bo.
Hi,
Hi,
Bo.
Bo. Hey, Bo.
He's like, who's calling me? Hi, Bo.
Right.
He's a happy little guy. He just what?
Yes.
Oh wow! So he's really fresh and ready to go.
Oh, hi, Bo.
He likes to nap sometimes. When he does, he Alexa likes to take naps with him when I'm up doing things. And yeah,
Mhm.
I get a little jealous. They'll take naps without me and not really say anything about it to me. So
Listen, don't be jealous because Alexa has to choose whether she's going to sleep, eat, take a shower when he naps.
That's right.
She has to decide which one she's going to do because she can't do all three.
Congratulations, Tyler.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Tyler, I got a question for you. So since you being a rookie and a lot of tracks you have not seen in a cup car, not having practice now in qualifying, how do you feel getting into a car? Not basically that's your first lap. Most of the tracks in the cup car. Like, what do you prepare yourself going into that? Do you speak to other drivers, or what is your preparation at that moment?
Lots of film. Like I touched on earlier with the SMT, I can go back and watch past races and really see what the drivers throughout the field. I can pull up my teammates from my teammates races from last year and see what they were fighting in our cars at RCR. Then I can go to the best cars and see how they were getting around the racetrack. From there, pairing up in-car film with that, going back watching race broadcasts, and then as I touched on with the Pratt Miller simulator, we'll have opportunities pop up to where me and my crew chief and one operator go into the room, wear the mask, do the whole deal, and then we can go through some setup changes and have the full platform movement and really get an idea of what the car's going to drive like as close as they can get to the real thing. So we use those tools a lot, as much as we can. But yeah, it's tough to go into an event blind for the most part and just put it all on the line the first lap. But I came from dirt racing where you show up, you hot lap, you go out, you qualify, you go out, you heat race. You have to pump out results right away. So I guess from my background, it doesn't bother me that much. I wish we would practice, but at the same time, we've gotten some good runs, I think, so far coming back from no one else getting practice either.
So question, Tyler, I see that you were the Xfinity champion for 2018 and 2019, and you're a rookie in the Cup Series. So do you feel any pressure? This is your first year, you're coming off of back-to-back championships. And even when you were in the Truck Series, you were just killing it in the Truck Series. So do you feel pressure? I have to come in here, I have to win. I'm coming with all these accolades with me. What does that feel like for you?
I really don't know if I try not to look at it as pressure. I feel like it's, we really got momentum rolling in 2019. 2018, we won the championship. We got things rolling at JR Motorsports at the tail end of that year. And then it was kind of like starting over. We went to RCR, but right away, we picked it right up where we needed to be. So I feel like it's just momentum, I guess. We were able to go through some very stressful situations. And technically, I guess, if you look at it from the championship standpoint, the last 2 years, we've been able to overcome everybody and win the championship. So Cup Series, a lot more drivers, the best of the best, but I look at his momentum. I think, we went into Phoenix before everything kind of came to a screeching halt. We were running inside the top 5 there, and we're making the right strides we need to get better. And the new Chevy Camaro ZL1 this year, one LE this year, has really helped with that too. So thanks again to Jim and everybody at Chevy for helping us on the aero side to get closer back to where we need to be. It's given us a good platform to work on. So everyone's just working hard, and coming off of that championship on the Xfinity side is motivational for everyone working on the Cup cars too. Motivates me to go out there and do the best. It's got my team motivated. So we just we work well together, but we have fun, and that allows us not to take the hard hits and moments in the racing too seriously. And us getting along so well together allows us to work really hard and with the time that we have to make our cars the best that we can.
Got it. I do have the question for William Johnson. He was having technical issues, but the question is, this is a more technique related question, but as a go-kart driver, I have problems with traction due to power loss and not being able to buy new tires. Since you have experience in dirt racing, what are your ways of telling when you're losing significant traction, and how do you regain it without losing too much time? P.S. Your baby is adorable.
Well, thank you. That's tough. I mean, obviously the name of the game, especially in NASCAR, is, new tires are just, anytime you can have newer tires to somebody, it's just free speed over your competition. But one thing that it applies, especially to racetrack we're going to, like Atlanta, is just to, with the tire fall, if you have there, it's important to get the most out of the tires, but avoid having those slips. Every time that at a place, especially like Atlanta, where tire wear is so significant, anytime that you slip that tire, you're costing yourself a 1/10.5, 2/10, 5-6 laps down the road. So I guess in a situation like that, it's all about just maximizing the grip without going past that limit or falling off the cliff of tire grip. That'll just that's the best way to maintain that grip and that's where it gets challenging, right? When you're a track that falls off literally seconds over the course of a fuel run there, it's very hard to find the peak limit of grip without stepping over it and paying a penalty by wearing the tires out even further. So that's just a tough thing about it. You just gotta, it's a feel. And a lot of that, when I go to a place like Atlanta, is I know what 100% effort is. And I think with 100% effort, I can run this certain lap time. If I back it down to 90%, yes, I might run a 1/10 slower the first 5-6 laps of a run. But my advantage is going to come later in the run when my tires are in better condition than my competition. And that's where I'll hope to make those strides, is just purely by taking better care of my equipment throughout the run. I guess that's my way of answering it, I guess. But what do you think?
Bo agrees.
Bo's over there smiling, so Bo
So
must
I
agree.
have another question from
Must agree.
Daryl, and he asked, is there a track you're especially looking forward to?
Atlanta is one of them this weekend. And then next weekend when we go to Homestead, Miami, that's another one I look really forward to. I think between my truck starts and my Xfinity starts, I think I've only finished out of the top 5 once. And the last 2 times we've been there, Xfinity Series, we've won there. But obviously stepping up to the Cup Series with the best of the best, it'll be a new challenge. But that's just a track that I've always liked. It has a lot of the tire wear that we see at Atlanta and other high wear tracks. And it also has a perfectly shaped wall to where when the tires start to go in, the grip starts to fade away. You can run up close to that wall and pack air between the car and the wall and get some more downforce out of the car. So that's a line I utilized a lot there the last 4 or 5 years running a truck and Xfinity. And I'm hoping it comes into play when we go there in a few weeks.
Okay.
If I could,
We have a question from Tay.
Jim has a question. Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say, I was going to just reinforce something that he mentioned. Tyler's very talented at running at Homestead up against the wall, and there's other tracks where he does the same thing. He's able to create that dynamic you just described to get more speed out of the car. And he is known for that. And so when he gets to Homestead, if you have a chance to watch him, I bet you Tyler will be up against the wall trying to create some speed and get to the front. Very talented, and did use that technique to win the last couple championships in Xfinity. Super talented. One last question here, Tyler, for me. All of our students, we've had over 5,500 students over the past 21 years that have gone through the Urban Youth Racing School. Today, there's about 15 of the current class, and they do classroom sessions and Zoom schools like we're doing. And then they also get to the track and do go-kart racing. So when you go back to the beginning of your career, did you do any karting, or did you go right? Was it dirt track was your first step? Which was the first step for you? Because our students are going to be karting hopefully soon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I started racing were the outlaw karts, and that was something that it's very similar to a go-kart, but it has a cage and a wing on it for kind of more for safety than anything. It was mostly out in California when I was growing up, but it's migrated its way out here to Mooresville, North Carolina. My crew chief's brother, Jeremy Burnett, has a racetrack out here at Millbridge Speedway, a couple miles from my house. And so in a way, yes, dirt oval go-karting. But one thing I also do a lot of to stay sharp with everything that's been going on too is GoPro, Motorplex, and some of these other go-kart tracks throughout our region are open, and you can go out and they'll have days where you can go out and test and practice. I've been able to go out and run my competition director, Andy Petrie's karts a few times. So go-karting is a great way to stay sharp. The karts are light, they're fast, and they work your body really hard because you're not really strapped in for the most part. So they make you work really hard, and Bo doesn't really care what I'm talking about. He's just excited. But yeah, go-karts are a huge, huge tool to refine anything you can do inside the car, and they get you whipped into shape really quick too.
Thanks for
All his
sharing.
facial expressions while you're speaking are hilarious.
Yeah.
Like whatever you're saying, he's like emitting it with his
Right.
eyes.
It's
Smile.
Alexa. She's standing back here. Don't be shy. It's her. She's just making faces.
Hi, how are you?
Keeping them
Good, how are
entertained.
you guys? Sorry,
Good,
I'm
good.
in pajamas.
So
Really?
funny though, when you were talking, his facial expressions were hilarious.
Oh yeah, he has lots of them. So
He's adorable.
He's full energy. He
Yeah,
gets fresh off a
totally.
nap.
he just learned how to screech a few days ago, like the like just scream. So
Yes,
yeah, he.
He's preparing himself to voice his opinion.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
we hope so. Anyways, I'm definitely that way. So
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you guys.
Absolutely. All right, Tay, are you ready,
Hey, you
babe?
got a question?
Yourself?
I guess Bo's gonna go inside.
He's gonna go
Say
get
bye,
some
Bo.
lunch.
I'm okay.
Who is your favorite race car driver?
I've had a lot of. That's an interesting.
Races?
I always have an interesting way answering that question. I looked up to a lot of different drivers throughout my young life for a lot of different reasons. When I think of Jimmy Johnson, I think of a very polite, humble, but hardworking individual that had a lot of characteristics and qualities that I could look up to. Then on the flip side, then I look at Tony Stewart. He had my dirt racing background, really aggressive, showed you who he was. I was just very pure and authentic. So I don't know. I really looked up to Dale Jr. I really looked up to Dale Earnhardt as well when I was really, really young.
Yeah.
But you can really, what I like to how I like to view it is you can really pick and pull certain things from different drivers, their unique characteristics, and just not necessarily copy them, but I just admired a lot of different drivers for a lot of different reasons because they're all unique. They have their own personalities, and they really did a good job of relaying those personalities through the TV screen.
All right, hold on a second, you guys. Somehow
I
Anthony.
can't see you, Jeff. There you go.
I got kicked off.
I can't see you because no,
It's trying to reconnect.
There you go.
I click back to
All right, sorry, Anthony got kicked off. Thank you, Tay.
Well,
Thank you, Tay, for your question.
All right, so I'm going to bring Tay down, and I'm going to bring Avante back. I'm going to bring Avante up. Hey, Avante,
Hello.
how are you?
Knowing good, knowing good.
How's it going?
Good. Hey, Tyler. My question for you is, if I remember correctly, it was last year. You was racing at Bristol, and you went to the back twice, and you still won the race. I was wondering, how did you do that? And also, do you remember me from last year for NASCAR Takes Over Philly Day when I spent the day with you?
I think I do remember that. I remember going to Philly. I remember when I tried to do the burnout, leaving my spot, and I blew the wind out of it.
Yeah, and I was
Remember
the
that?
one who waved the flag for you.
Yeah, that was a bad, but that day was a lot of fun. It was good to talk to you again. But honestly, I may have been feeling crazy that day because my crew chief Randall, he gets really worked up sometimes, so he's freaking out. He's thinking that he's gonna get fired on Monday because we couldn't get our car through tech. He's so worried about he's gonna get yelled at. He's like spun out, right? And I look at him like, nah, we'll just go out there and win today. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy because he's like, when you go down pit road at Bristol, you're gonna lose a lap. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. And I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I noticed this in certain athletes. Like, there's confidence and then there's ignorance, right? But I just wasn't, I guess, too distraught with the things that were going on around me. I felt confident in my team and our capabilities. I just had this feeling that the day was still going to work out. So just that positive attitude, I guess, is what got me through that day in the events throughout that race. I mean, yeah, most it's very unsettling when you start a lap down, especially when you have 5-6 cup guys in the field. But we had a caution right away. We got a lap back. And then as we're going to the front, a lot of those guys wrecked. And it just opened up this huge opportunity for us. So, yeah, I mean, it's easy to lose sight of what's important. But, we just kept a level head all day long. I did in the race car and just focused at what was in hand and just trying to get back to the front and just remaining cool and calm about it. Even after I spun that second time going for the stage win under Justin Allgaier, it was just like, all right, well, we've done it once already. We can do it again, whatever. We'll just try again. So yeah, I don't know, that level head, I guess, just got me through it. So it could have been so easy to get frustrated starting a lap down and just do something foolish to take yourself out of the race. And, the race is never over until it's over. And that's one thing I learned last year, especially. We had a lot of bad things happen throughout our races. We were still able to overcome them and win. Bristol was that way. Talladega earlier in the year for my first win of the year, I hit the fence driving in a straight line. Don't know how I did that. We had a jack stand get stuck under the car. And we had so many things go wrong, almost go a lap down, and somehow caution comes out before. I mean, if you just believe and have confidence and don't have the negative mindset, I mean, it's really crazy what truly can be possible when your head's in it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Good seeing you again.
You too.
Thank you, Avante. I'm going to bring him back down. You just mentioned something, Tyler, that we speak about often, which is just positive reinforcement, especially mentally. Can you speak to that a little bit? Because now that I'm listening to you talk and I fully see your career, that took a lot of mental fortitude to fight all that. But I feel like you use it in life in general.
I try to. Everyone, I have my moments where I lose a little bit, but
you're human.
But yeah, for sure. A lot of what I say, comes to I like to listen to athletes and individuals that have done outstanding and extraordinary things. And one piece that really I guess radiated with me is I was listening to a podcast, and he's a little crazy, but Conor McGregor has incredible will. And, that was something that he touched on, that when he spoke about it, it's like, I didn't realize it, but I look at some of the crazy races I have, and I just had that similar mindset, like, it's going to be fine. It's going to work out. He's more aggressive, like, this is mine, I'm going to take it kind of mentality. Right. But it's really crazy in those moments when all the cards are stacked against you in a sense. If you just believe and you have a positive mindset, it's incredible, just with nothing but using your mind to be positive and visualize, I'm still going to get back to the front. It's incredible how powerful that really is. And I think it's something in racing, it kind of gets blown under the radar a little bit at times. Everyone talks about, his head's not in this week. He's not going to do great. Everyone gets caught up in all these great cars and great teams. But at the end of the day, it's when you see these incredible runs by some of these other drivers in equipment that just shouldn't match up, or at a track that doesn't make sense for them to run good, or when you see crazy things happen, drivers come from the back to the front, where's their head at when they're going through that? They're not freaking out and being erratic. They're calm, cool, and collective, and they're focusing on what they want, and that's getting back to the front. So your mindset plays a lot into the race car. And, in those crazy moments that I had, my vision stayed true, and I stayed focused on what I wanted at the end of the day. And that's getting the win. Awesome.
So we're coming to the end of our class, but we do have something at the end that we do that's called Would You Rather, a little game.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and then I'm going to have Jim ask you a question, okay? Just so I won't tear it up, right? All right, so the first question is, would you rather swim with sharks or hippos? Exactly.
Hippos look kind of scary too. Their mouths can open up really big. I think it just eat me in one bite. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with hippos, honestly. As crazy as that sounds. Hippos might be scarier. I don't know if they're hostile or not. I don't know. Maybe I just watched some crazy movie where it was like killer hippos, but yeah, I don't know.
I think
I'll have to go with
hippos
hippos.
are the deadliest animals in Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw something a long time ago, obviously, and I'm like, man, they're a lot more violent than I thought, and that's kind of stuck with me. So hopefully that was the right answer.
I don't know which is the right answer. I think it just depends on the person, right? It depends on your sense of adventure and personality. But you're the first person that has ever picked a hippo.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hopefully it wasn't the wrong answer.
Well, there is no right or wrong, right?
Well, yeah, I know. Well, if I ever end up in a pool with, like sharks, I'm not regretting what I said, I guess is what I mean. You know what I mean?
All right. So the next question actually comes from John. So would you rather surf, surfboard in a hurricane or surf during an earthquake? Because you're a California boy.
Skateboard.
Skateboard.
Oh, skateboard? Oh. Yeah, I think I'd rather skateboard during an earthquake. But unless obviously the earth just opened up and I fell right in, that would be unfortunate. But I think I'd rather go with the earthquake. There's not as many things flying through the air as when a hurricane's going through.
All right, that's good. All right, Jim, the next question is.
Yeah, Tyler, would you rather drive a Camaro ZL11LE at Watkins Glen, or these are street cars now, or the new Corvette mid-engine C8 at Watkins Glen?
I have to go with C8 because I have a ZL11LE, but I don't get to ever drive it at Watkins Glen. But I got to drive the C8 a while back at Spring Mountain for the first time, and I still have a lot to learn about that car. It was the first mid-engine car I'd ever drove, and it just blew my mind how responsive it was. And considering, ZL11LE has all that horsepower with the bigger supercharger, the bigger tires, and the C8 still, for the most part, could keep up with it on the stopwatch at Spring Mountain is impressive to me. So I'm gonna have to go with C8.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, Michelle. All right, Anthony?
Yeah, this has been great, Tyler. Tyler, I do just kind of turning over to some of the things that are happening here. I do want to make mention that I absolutely appreciate you speaking up for what is going on in our country.
Absolutely, thank you.
I appreciate you coming on, because when our students look to the sport, and there's not many people in the sport who look like them, and for you to come out and just just posting that post, it really means a lot. I thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a no-brainer for me. It's the right thing. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
I want to reiterate that too. I actually had a long conversation with Steve Phelps on Wednesday, and one of the first names that came up was yours, Ty Dillon, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, for speaking out, because it's not easy, to speak out when you have sponsors. When it came from you and especially Ty and those guys, I know it came from the heart. So I really appreciate you guys speaking out for social justice and for what's going on in the last 2 weeks. So I appreciate you too.
Absolutely.
All right.
Hopefully we can continue to make a change for the positive out of this. We'll keep working on it. Thank you.
I think I feel a change coming though. Like I feel the difference. It just really is different right now. And so I just wanted to mention that, next week, I think Ty Dillon is going to be on the show next week. And so we'll certainly have a conversation about it because he's very passionate about it. So, you know, I just appreciate it and just know that, you know, it's the Urban Youth Racing School. So of course most of our students are Black. And it just shows you know, how you guys, the driver, are coming together and you guys are who our kids look up to, right? So, you know, it's just, if we can bring it all together, right? And like you said, we can all keep working on it. I think it's just a great thing. I don't know what else to say. Just thank you.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible thing, but you know, hindsight, I hope it can create some positive change in our world. And it seems like, you know, like you said, it does feel different. Like it seems like things are going to happen and change in the positive way out of this. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how many other drivers have also, you know, decided to chime in and jump on board and give their support too. So it was obviously terrible, but I'm excited to see what the next few weeks look like going forward and what changes. So thank you guys.
There's been changes, right? You know, there's the defunding of some police to take the money and give it to other things. There's, you know, Minneapolis, the whole entire police department just said, you know, that they're redoing their training. They can no longer do chokeholds. There's a lot of change, but it takes us as an entire community.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
it takes every single one of us
Yes.
to bring about this change. So everyone, you know, I mean, we've been partners with Chevy for a long time.
20 years.
20 years.
It's been
And,
20
you know,
years.
Chevy has had our front, our back, our side, our middle. And so, you know, the fact that, like, I just feel that we're an entire community and that and what I feel now more than ever is that this entire community is really standing together. And I love that. Because that's what we need. Like, that's what we need as human beings. That's what we need.
Absolutely.
Well, on another note, Tyler, when all of this stuff, when the pandemic is over, hopefully you can come up and race against our kids on the go-kart track, you know, for sure. I've been looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
You know what it is? Dirt drivers are aggressive.
Yeah.
Huh?
The guys who drive on dirt are really aggressive.
Yeah.
Some are.
Tony Stewart, I've never seen a more aggressive driver. But when you see, but it's nothing to see. Like, you have to see him drive on dirt. It does no justice when he drives just in regular NASCAR. When you see him drive on dirt is when you really see the type of dude that Tony Stewart really is.
And Tyler, by the way, I drug Michelle through racing. I actually drug her through this. So she's a racing fan now. She was not always a racing fan. Okay.
I'll be the first to admit
right,
it.
absolutely.
I didn't understand the sport. And I think the first race that I went to, God, it's been a good 20 years now. But the first race that I went to, do you remember it was that small track? It was a truck series race. Right. And I was in the pits. I stood in turn 1. And this is what got me. So there was maybe 44 cars in that race, 44 trucks. And 4 trucks finished that.
They had so many crashes, it was unbelievable.
Where was it at?
Michelle just enjoyed it. Like I'm like, listen, there's other parts of the track, you know, like turn 2, turn 3. No, she wants to stay in turn 1. To see all these different crashes and everything. So
that's the only place where you could crash and it's cool, right? Like, it's good. Not a big deal. Nobody's coming to get you. Rubbing is racing.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there like, oh my God. I was like, nobody's gonna win this race. And I think it finished under a caution. Right?
Yeah.
It finished under a caution. So I liked it. I mean, you guys, you shouldn't just like it because it's crashes, right? But that is a part of the sport.
It's a part of it. It's exciting.
It's
absolutely. But Tyler, again, man, thank you for taking your time today. We really enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you soon. Good luck racing. You know, hopefully you can, in fact, it'd be phenomenal when you win a championship. Because I know that's coming down the line. It's going to happen. You won an Xfinity.
Keep working at it.
You're definitely going to win in the Cup Series too. So, hey, listen. Stay strong, my brother, and thank you again, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Absolutely, you guys too. Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Say bye to both for us too, by the way.
I will. Yeah.
Tyler, where can everyone find you?
Yes.
On social media, websites?
Just my name, Tyler Reddick. It's pretty simple. Instagram, Twitter.
Reddick is spelled R-E-D-D-I-C-K.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So at Tyler, but I think on Twitter you're Tyler Reddick, but I feel like on Instagram you're Tyler_Reddick.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think if you type in my name, it should come up. But yeah, it's Tyler_Reddick on Twitter, on Instagram.
On Instagram. All right, Jim.
Yeah, hey Tyler, thanks for joining us. Good luck this weekend in Atlanta. Go get them. Thanks for representing us. Thanks for sharing your insights with our students. That is the focus that and the commitment that we have with Anthony, Michelle, and John, and everybody who supports the school. It's all about the students, and so thanks for sharing with them and taking some of their questions. And we'll look for an opportunity to get you back to Philadelphia to join one of the events. Thanks for
I'd love to.
joining us. Have a great race this weekend, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be hot and slick. It's just gonna be just what the doctor ordered. I can't wait.
For all of our students, if you want to tune into the race is in Atlanta tomorrow. The number 8 Chevrolet.
Number 8.
I do have one more question for you, Tyler, because the kids are getting ready to do these big presentations that John and Anthony and even Jim has been coming in on Wednesday night classes. And one of the things that they've been talking about is how can you do activations? Like how can you give your sponsor an ROI?
It depends on what the sponsor wants. For Caterpillar, it's all about giving back to their loyal retailers and customers. I think back when I worked with Cooper Standard back in my truck racing days, it was through their Careers for Veterans program and taking the veterans that work at Cooper Standard to the racetrack. There's a lot of different ways. It's fairly unique per I guess company or manufacturer, whatever it is they're seeking out of it. I got a lot of great people at RCR that really do a good job when they have a sponsor come in that wants to do something in racing of really painting that picture for them. A lot of companies and sponsors that come in the sport too know exactly what they want when they come. So you never know. You might be doing a commercial one day. I feel like back in the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s, a lot of it was commercials, and now it's interacting with fans or customers. We do a lot of that. Well, we're doing a lot of that with Caterpillar at the racetrack. We're doing a lot of Zoom meet and greets now with special guests, a lot of other things. It's pretty open book, and I've always been open book. I have fun doing this stuff. So if whatever it is they need me to do, I've pretty much been a yes man. If they need me to jump off of a building into a giant pool, whatever it is, I'm all open for it. So that's just who I am.
Hopefully there's no hippos in there.
Yeah, hopefully I don't have to swim with hippos. Hopefully that's not one of them. I might be in trouble.
But thank you so much.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank
This
you,
has
sir.
been awesome.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you guys.
All right. See you
All
later.
right.
Take care. See ya.
Hold on.